Hello, this is Average John coming at you with another video of what I have read over this week. Now today we have read Fables Volume 5, the main seasons by Vertigo. It's one of my favorite comic series. It's a really good book. I highly suggest you read it. Now what's going to happen is this is going to be the last Fables book I read for a while. I'm going to take a couple weeks off, read some more comics. Then a couple weeks, like maybe like 5 weeks or whatever, I'm gonna get back to Fables 5 through 10, Fables 6 through 10, or whatever. I'm gonna continue with the Fables series because they are really good, and I haven't read all of them. There's like 18 volumes. So, with further ado, let's get into the characters of the main seasons. Let's see what we got. We got Cinderella, who's Prince Charming's third ex-wife. She's the owner and manager of the Glass Slipper shoe store. I got Baby Wolf. He is the big bad wolf from the Three Little Pigs and Little Red Riding Hood. He is reformed. He is the mayor of Fabletown. And Snow White is having a child. I got Prior Rose, who's Sleeping Beauty. She is Prince Charming's second ex-wife. And she's also the richest fable in Fabletown since Bluebeard has died. She's letting Prince Charming stay with her. You got Snow White from the Seven Dwarfs. She is the deputy mayor of Fabletown. She is Prince Charming's first ex-wife. And she is pregnant with Big Blue Wolf's child. And then you got Prince Charming, who married and divorced Snow White, Rose Red, and Cinderella. Killed Bluebeard. Just killed him. And then he's running to become mayor of Fabletown. Got King Cole, who is the current mayor of Fabletown, is actually nervous about the election with Prince Charming. You got Frau Totenginda, who's from Hansel and Gretel. She's the witch. She's also leader of the 13th floor community in the Woodlands building. That's a community of witches. But yeah, she also defeated Baba Yaga in the last book. You got Beast, who's married to Beauty. She's currently working in the boiler room in the Woodlands building. And Prince Charming did offer him Bigby Wolf's job if he wins in the last book. And you got Beauty, who is married to Beast. She is working as a clerk at a bookshop. Prince Charming offered her Snow White's job if he wins. He also did that in the last book. I got Rose Red, who is Snow White's sister. She now runs the farm. I got Flycatcher, who's formerly the Frog Prince, and he keeps getting community service because he keeps seeing flies. And Baba Yaga was the Red Riding Hood of the last book, as she was beat by Frau Totenkinda on the rooftop. Now, nobody knows that she is still alive except for her and Bigby. Boy Blue is Snow White's assistant. He plays the trumpet. He hasn't been able to play the trumpet though since Baba Yaga broke both his hands, but Dexter Swinehart is working on it. And then you got Buffkin, who's the flying monkey. He was in Wizard of Oz. He helps the office by reaching all the books on the high shelves. Alright, so here we are getting into the spoiler section, so if you haven't read this book, I suggest you get off this video, read it, and come back to this video. Alright, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so chapter 1 is Cinderella Libertine. Yeah, no, I was right the first time, Libertine. Alright, so you got Cinderella, you got Prior Rose, And you got Snow White. They're all having lunch. They're all having this annual meeting as exes of Prince Charming. But Cinderella thinks that Prince Charming did her the worst, though. And she argues about it. Because she's just like, well, the first 2 times I think were a mistake, but he had to know by the 3rd time what he was doing. And she just says that, storms off because she has to go. She has a meeting in Paris. Is he a spy for someone? Well, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Ichabod Crane from Sleepy Hollow arrives to meet Cinderella. Turns out that Cinderella and Ichabod Crane are involved in a scheme to get married so that Cinderella and Ichabod Crane could rule the world. As they get married, and the adversary will come to the wedding, and then, they exchange for all of Fabletown's secrets. They can get married. So, of course, Cinderella has a signed marriage contract. So she presents him with it, and he's like, well, as long as this gets married, and he signs it. Turns out that Cinderella was working with Bigby Wolf the entire time of Fabletown and is arresting Ichabod Crane for treason. And that signed contract thing, that wasn't a marriage contract, that was a sign. That was just of course I forget the name of it now. A signed confession. Sorry about that. This job is off the books. So, Bigby Wolf kills Ichabod Crane. It's off the books. So, nobody else knows what they're doing. But here we got some war stories. So that ends chapter 1. But we got some war stories. This Dog Company War Stories Part 1. Bigby Wolf meets up with this guy named Duffy. Duffy and him are the last surviving members of a dog squad. A squad that was with a squad that fought in World War II. And they fought against a lot of Nazis. And Duffy has cancer, so he's not going to make it long. So he called Bigby to tell him his story and to give him his scrapbook. A scrapbook of this one secret mission that they went on. The mission was called Operation Chambermaid, where they basically go in the Fear's backyard. Now, Dog Company is made up of Lieutenant Ronald Levine, Staff Sergeant Michael Sapinski, Private Zillman, Private First Class Joey Feist, Corporal John Baker, also known as Cutter, Private James Schmachtenberg, otherwise known as Alphabet, Private Sean Duffy, and Sergeant Harp. Now, Sergeant Harp is the special guy, the guy that needs to move from point A to point B. And they go at a pace of like 7 kilometers in 4 hours. Now, they find this place is good to camp out and wait out. So they do that for like 3 days. And then this random guy shows up. It's a Bigby Wolf. Now he helps them trek along the Odenwald Hills. And Bigby Wolf keeps them fed, He either hunts or he goes to the villages and just takes the food because they think they're taking it to a boss or whatever. So, but Bigby Wolf and I think Sergeant Hart, they're wearing Nazi uniforms to kind of blend in the castle, because the castle they're going to is surrounded by heavy guns and one or two vehicles. But fret not, there's an ancient passageway underneath that will lead right to the castle. And there you run into some conversation like, well, Bigby Wolf's already hairy, needs to shave 3 times a day and whatever. Now these are all conversations meant to pass the time because they have to wait until after midnight to sneak out of the castle. Their objective is to destroy the weapons. They could prolong the war if they had weapons. Bigby Wolf is disguised as a man named Conrad Dipple von Kleist, captain of the Internal Security Department. He's asking his random guard, how could he just walk right in? It's not good security. He just then assassinates the guard. And it turns out that this castle was the real Frankenstein's castle. Nazi scientists are experimenting on a monster. Excuse me. Yeah, that's the end of chapter 2. Now we get chapter 3, which is Frankenstein vs. the Wolfman. War Stories Part 2. And so the project that the Nazi scientists are working on is called Project Folsom. Now it's not the original Frankenstein's monster. This one's a new one made up of Nazi soldier parts. Of course, it's all Aryan and all that stuff. But Nazis wanted to test out his capabilities, so they actually invaded the American soldiers to come in. They wanted them to come in so they could test them out. But the soldiers, they're right in a secret tunnel. They finally just attack. Of course, Bigby Wolf's with them. But they release Frankenstein's monster. It's Frankenstein's monster versus Bigby Wolf, or the Wolfman, as they call him. Normal bullets do not hurt Bigby at all. Only like silver and stuff like that. And of course, there's also soldiers versus the Nazis. Now, soldiers do have better positioning, but the Nazis have more people, and they have also more guns. The entire plan was to lure Bigby here, actually. So, them building a Frankenstein was not important. The whole important thing was they wanted to lure the Wolfman here so they could extract his DNA so that they could replicate it and build an army of impenetrable Wolfmen. And if they did that, they'd win the war. Now Sergeant Hart just comes in and starts kicking ass, starts shooting everybody. He shoots the serum that's extracted from Bigby. He saves Bigby, and the castle blows up. But Bigby is fine. Doc Company forever kept Bigby's secret that he was half human, half wolf. Fabletown office now has a scrapbook of that mission, and they also contain the real Frankenstein monster, the original. And that ends chapter 3. And chapter 4, the cruel hot summer. Of course, Snow White's pregnant, she's in labor. We will find out. The hospital's afloat, change clothes, and buy some celebratory cigars. He accidentally gives the taxi driver a $100 bill instead of a 20 because he's rushing. He doesn't see what he's doing. Snow White has been in labor for 36 hours. That is tough. That is tough. The waiting room is filled with a boy blue, King Cole, and Prince Charming. It shows that Flycatcher is running for Snow White. She's not running for. She's not running. She's not on the ballot. He's just running for her. When the election works, you get your official ballot in a line, and go to the next line to check boxes of either King Cole and Prince Charming. I can write down whoever the heck you want and put it in a ballot box. Now at the farm, it's like you're not able to fill out your ballot by yourself because of like lack of thumbs and stuff. Then you get someone else to fill it out for you with your permission. And when you get up to the line, get up to the person in line, you're like, this is my ballot, fill it out to my satisfaction. And we come back to the hospital. It turns out the spell that Baby Wolf and Snow White were under, and when their children were conceived, is misdirecting the doctor, so he thinks it's only one child that's coming out, one child that they birthed, but turns out to be more than one. Turns out to be 7. But the main thing is like they only see 6. So King Cole asks Flycatcher to do an official recount of the votes when the voting is over. Trusty John in tears because his garden is in shambles, and Prince Charming won. So Beauty and Beast to get Baby Wolf and Snow White's job. Babies are going to be raised on the farm. Baby Wolf's not allowed at the farm. Witches can't prepare spells and magic quickly and expensive like so. So Prince Charming already can give the people what he has promised them, which is free transformations and inexpensive glamours. Inexpensive or free glamours. Frau Totzengender is of course questioning Baba Yaga. Like, who is the adversary and stuff. She has all this energy to say demented stuff, but doesn't have any energy to squeal. Then we got Kevin Thorne, who is an investigative journalist. He was in the last book with the Fabletown battles. And he was just like, there's all these fires and stuff going on, but no one reported them. All these fires, all these battles, riots, investigating Wolfwood Street. And the weird thing about the babies, when they're born from Snow White, is that they're floating. And that ends chapter 4. So now, we go on to chapter 5, which is the long, hard fall. Now we got Baby Wolf, Cinderella, and Beast there all interrogating a talking head named Arlo. But the adversary, Arlo, is one of the wooden soldiers from last book. The adversary is more concerned about the Mondays, are the humans, and they're more concerned about them than they are about Fabletown. Now Snow White is training Beauty. She says to keep Boy Blue and Buffkin, they are essential to the job. And then we cut to Prince Charming, who goes to King Cole's X apartment or whatever, the presidential suite or whatever. And he already's just like, nah, I want more elegant things, so I need more couches, more beds, more furniture, or whatever. And we cut the boy Blue, who has his hands completely healed by Dr. Swinehart, the town doctor. And King Cole is monkeying with Boy Blue until Beauty and Beast have moved out of their apartment. Beauty and Beast moving to Big Beast and Snow White's apartment. And King Cole is going to take over their old apartment. Now, Big Blue Wolf is training Beast on all the secret things he does to help protect Fabletown. You know, like how he funds all the secret adventures. There's a good run. There's a goose that lays golden eggs. He sells the golden eggs to do the secret things he does. And everyone thought Goodrun was dead, and Bigby and Goodrun would prefer it that way. But Bigby Wolf is leaving Fabletown, and one day he will come back to see his cubs. Nothing can stop him. Now Snow White wants to be with Bigby, but she doesn't want to leave Fabletown. And we get to Prince Charming. It's like, I want to be more direct than King Cole was. Now where's Boy Blue? Turns out he disappeared. The flying Rugrats, they're kind of like set loose, but the birds are prepared. Set loose, what I mean is basically they're still flying uncontrollably or floating uncontrollably, so they're let out outside and they just keep floating up and up, and the birds just catch them. Now maybe Baby was Snow White's happily ever after, but he's gone. It's like Rose Red is just like, hey, you tried out princes so many times and they haven't worked. Why not try Mutt? But he's gone now. He is gone. Boy Blue is also gone. He took the witching cloak, Vorpal Blade, and Pinocchio's body. Colin the Pig shows up in Snow White's dream. And she asks him, do things get better? And he's like, oh, I wish I could say. Then ends chapter 5. Now we got chapter 6, The Dark Killing Winter. We're introduced to these two couples, Master and Mistral. And Mistral maybe saw the Master's son in the scrying pool. People are in the streets of Fabletown. Now we get back to Fabletown with the people protesting Prince Charming, making promises of free glamours and transformations. Now Beast gets rid of them, and saying that's not good for the attention. It's not good for Monday to the crowd of Fables is protesting. But how else is it gonna see anything? Prince Charming hasn't taken any appointments from them or anything. And of course, Boy Blue is missing, so they're just like, we don't take appointments because Boy Blue hasn't made any of them. So, but the crowd disperses as Beast goes in the building. The Foul Kingdom may have some concoction for Beast that'll make it so he could transform into a beast anytime he wanted to and not have to be dependent on his wife's feelings for him to change. And this is good news for Beast, who also wants Foul to grow a pair of eyeballs for him For what reason, I don't know. Beauty is having trouble adjusting to Snow White's job. It's just having trouble just yelling at Pumpkin instead of brainstorming, even like keep yelling at the monkey and never get any work done. And brainstorming is being more direct than King Hole ever was. And Bee thinks that Boy Blue used the wishing cloak to teleport back into the homelands. As the Whirlpool Sword work like the fins, he's going to give Pinocchio's body back to Geppetto, his father, in exchange for the real Riding Hood. Just like in the wishing cloak do that because all the gates were destroyed. And nobody knows what they were like. Don't fables have like something where that people that practice with magical artifacts? And they're like, yes, it's called the Artifact of Familiarization Program. But Boy Blue was assigned with the wishing cloak since he used it to last in the homelands. And other bad news is someone looted one of the 37 Bluebeard's treasure rooms. And that's worth easily some like 2.4 to $6 billion, so easily some pocket change, Now, Frau Totenkinde says that Snow White had 7 kids, but everyone only had 6, including Snow White. Now, Beast sets Flycatcher free, but he doesn't necessarily want to go, he sets him free, knowing he's being punished for all these minor infractions. But Flycatcher does not want to go because he's poor and homeless, so doing all that stuff, we gave him a home, actually. And the Great North, who is Wigby's dad, arrives at the farm and wants to see his grandchildren. And that ends chapter 6. And it brings us to, I think, the last chapter, chapter 7, which is called Until the Spring. Now, Bigby Wolf never really cared for his dad at the Great North. The children will need extraordinary training, by like 1 year old, which I think they're approaching at this point. They should have learned how to talk at least, but they don't know. They don't know that. So the Great North is like, I can train them to talk, to walk, and to shapeshift. But all around, people are suffocating. Fables are suffocating. And Mary's little lamb died. She's suffocating. Now it's Lamb, it's Mr. Webb, Sally Morrison, Barbara Morrison. All of them are victims. And the Great North tells them it can only be a zephyr, or an invisibly deadly gust of wind that likes to feed on air, especially directly from the lungs, because that's when it tastes best. Now, of course, Pac-Man Fabletown brainstorming with the war against the adversary, where Fabletown strikes first. Back at the farm, Beast is on a team with the Great North to find the Zephyr, along with Mistral, Squall, and Whiff. Those 3 are the Great North's minions. Back at the woodlands, the floor is dirty because Beast let Flycatcher go. It's the only one who is the only janitor there, I think. Back at the farm, Snow White leaves children with Great North. with the Great Northern Train. Back at the Woodlands, Flycatcher is free. So maybe it was time to escape to the homelands and find his wife and daughter. And I think Boy Blue did it. Maybe Flycatcher can too. Mace needs to arrest Flycatcher and put him back into servitude. So he doesn't do that. So he's happy because he can't leave and he's safe. Because he's not at the homelands where the adversary is. Now Jack is an old time the guy from the Beanstalks. He is gone too. He randomly rode off last year. At least he got a line. And Prince Charming knows about Big B spies and he wants them for himself. It turns out that the Zephyr is Snow White's seventh child. And the chapter ends with a little poem. It goes, the cruel, hot summer led into the long, hard fall, becoming the dark, killing winter, until spring replenished us all. Now Fables, Volume 5, The Mean Seasons. So I thought it was really great. And again, to reiterate, this is the last Fables book I'm doing for a couple weeks. I'm gonna read some of my own comics that I've got over the past month or so. But if you'd like to tell me how you thought about it in the comments down below. Tell me if you read anything new down in the comments down below. Again, my social medias, you can reach me on there. My Instagram's at TRIPL3XXX My Twitter's at RealAverage My Facebook is at OfficialAverageJohn. And those are all down there in the description down below as well. And now we'll see you all tomorrow with my review, or with me just talking about Warrior Nun. Alright, I'll see you all later.